Nina.
I'm Donald.
And I'm Kaylee.
And this might be free. I can't remember. But I introduced it as premium, which is what I do. Happy Turkey Day. Even though you guys are going to hear this after Turkey Day, we are recording on Turkey Day. And we are back to discuss Flower of Evil. We're going to be talking about Season 1, Episodes 3 and 4. And just like last time, I have no notes because this show is a hot fucking mess. And it's a lot. And I just can't be bothered to write shit down when I'm trying to figure shit out. Kaylee, how many times do I pause the episode?
To ask questions.
Yes. I'll be like, but wait a minute. Isn't that his mom? Or isn't he the guy who blah, blah, blah? It is a lot. And it didn't help that Donnie watched episode 3 before we did. And when you were done, you sent us a message. Do you remember what you said?
My jaw was on the fucking floor after that episode 3.
I'm trying to remember, how did episode 3 end?
That you find out that the son, the couple's real son.
Oh, right.
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That fucking
they got him hiding in the fucking closet, like, and it was like, I don't know how far you've gotten in with Let the Right One In, but
no, I've only seen the first episode.
Okay, there's a lot of like similarities with that. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Oh, okay. So listen, Kaylee and I. Okay, on the one hand, I was like, I feel like we kind of spoiled ourselves because we mentioned the Dexter connection last time.
Yes.
And when we watched either episode 3 or 4, I made a note to look at the credits in the beginning to see specifically what it said about Dexter, and it said Dexter the Eye. And yes. I don't remember what the Korean said before it, but I'm pretty sure it probably said something like inspired by or based on, right?
Right.
So then I did my Googles, and Dexter the Eye is one of the Dexter novels or part of the series, whatever. It's definitely part of that universe that the TV show here in America was based on. So
you could tell.
And so as we're watching it, I was like, oh yeah, like here's another similarity to Dexter. So the whole time we were watching these 2 episodes, again,
we're coming up with theories.
Yes,
that, related to the real Dexter.
The guy in the raincoat, we were like, that's the ice truck killer who ended up. Sorry, spoiler for Dexter. If you haven't seen that show, that show is like 15 years old or more. That it
ended up being his brother.
His brother, right? So
it wasn't until after we were done watching episode 4 we were like, oh right, and he had a sister.
And he has a sister, right? Because
yes,
Deborah, right? Okay,
But they introduced a sister on this, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yes, but he doesn't. But they revealed in episode 4 that it's not a brother. That the raincoat killer was that cab driver, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, all right, I'm going to let y'all give y'all overall thoughts, and I'm going to try to figure out a way to talk about this shit. We got the episode 3 on in the background to help. My note haven't asked. Okay, Donnie.
Yes.
The cop. Mm-hmm. You know how it's like the 3 cop team, right? His wife, the younger guy, and the kind of funny guy, right?
Yeah.
They report to one guy. Do you recognize that guy?
I got the scene on right now. Hold on. Let's see if he pops back up.
He has glasses on.
No, I don't recognize him.
Oh my God. He is from Attorney Woo. He was the shitty lawyer.
Okay.
That she had to work with.
Yeah, I kind of blocked him out.
He was 2 cases, one of the senior attorneys.
Yeah, the scene's on right now with him.
Yeah. And there's another guy that we recognize, but you didn't probably pay attention enough to eat their
His real
glass.
father looks familiar too.
He does.
That's what I was saying.
He does. I need to.
Oh wait, no, his real father. I'm thinking about his other father.
He does too.
His other father does too.
His other father.
His real
does
father.
Too.
I swear I've seen him.
But we've only seen him with those like dark contact eyes, contact lenses.
Well, he has
right?
at that. And there's a picture of him.
Yeah. Sure.
Oh, okay.
And his profile.
Okay, so
I'm only just not thinking this, but the main guy, he kind of reminds me of Subin from TXT.
A little bit, yeah.
Just a certain angles.
So I'll let you go first, Kaylee. What did you think of these 2 episodes?
They're crazy. I still love it. There's just a lot of like.
Didn't you say that this has the potential to be like your top 3 K dramas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like I said that before we knew it was like based off of Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I know, I'm like, yeah, I'm probably still gonna.
Yeah.
Really like it.
Yeah.
But I'm enjoying it. It's cool because like we keep coming up with crazy theories, and I'm like so sure that we're right on our theories, but then we're not.
Right.
And then it's like, oh.
But it's still good and fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be boring, I guess, if we were absolutely right.
Yeah, but it's just because I keep trying to come up with like crazy theories though, like out there stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like it still somehow manages to not to surprise me.
I'm watching a dating reality show, Korean dating reality show. It's on Hulu if anybody's interested. It's called Pink Lie. And it's probably like 5 or 6 episodes available on Hulu, but in the Netherlands they're a few episodes ahead. So I've been watching on the Disney Plus in the Netherlands because I can't contain myself. So my friend gave me her login. She lives in Amsterdam, and it's the premise, and it's based off of a French reality show, same premise, but it's 10 people in a house, 5 women, 5 men, and they eat. It's like a dating show, so they're gonna play games and go on dates and stuff like that, and see who chooses who at the end. But everyone in the house has a lie, so they're not telling their real names or even their real ages, or occupate. They say the only thing they were allowed to say is their names, their ages, their occupations, and I think where they're from. But any of that could be one of their lies, right? Mm-hmm. So one woman, she used to do adult films. That's her lie. That's her secret, I should say. So that's basically it. And every few episodes, like another secret is revealed. Sometimes, most time just to us, to the audience, right? But one person will get an opportunity to go to what they call like the hidden room of truth, and they say one name, and the show will tell them that person's secret. So there are a few people in the house who know other people's secrets, but yeah. So it's really, really good. And it just occurred to me that one of the guys in the house that I like the least, like I can't stand him, looks like the husband, the main guy. He's what do we call him? Tohyun, his real name. Yeah, let's call him that. But anyway, okay, Donnie, what did you think?
You should really start.
First of all, I was right on a lot of stuff. I'll admit that.
Okay.
Excuse you.
I told you that he wasn't going to kill that guy, and I told you they're going to be working together.
Yeah.
And I love their working relationship.
Even though he keep trying to, when he was recording him in the car.
Yeah, because he's just a jackass.
I was like,
I just love how smart our guy is.
Yeah. I was like, he's too smart for that. But then he kept talking, and I'm like, well, maybe he's not. But then he reached in the pocket and pulled it out, and yeah. Go ahead.
I like the tense scenes. Both of these episodes had really good tense scenes. The first one with the apartment with the wife almost catching him, and then the second one with the wife catching him outside. But
she was whipping his ass too.
The one thing is the music makes it kind of feel weird, and then it draws it out a little too long sometimes. I felt the apartment, especially the apartment one. Felt like
she was on that balcony for like 5 minutes,
right? And it was just this tense music, and it was just shots going back and forth between them two, and it's like, okay, just fucking do something. Just stop standing there and look at. But overall, I don't know what's going on with the real family, like his adopted family. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on with all that. I don't know why they're keeping the son hidden, and I don't know.
I wonder if my theory was I wondered if the mother did something to him, and that's why he's in that condition because of the way she reacted when she found out that they're looking for Do-hyun, and she called him to the pharmacy, and she slapped him. And then the way her hands were shaking, and she said something like
it's like a bad habit.
And it made, so it's like, oh, is she trying to say she's violent? Like she has the, so I wondered if she had did something to the son, and they, wanted to keep it hidden, but then you just had to have someone else come and pretend to be.
She pulled a Todoroki's mom.
And then the sister. So is the sister his real sister, or
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought because of kind of
And I think that the
did.
village head was doing something to her, and that's why he killed him. I think.
I
think she's the girl that was in that scene.
Okay.
And then I was a little thrown off because he mentions to the reporter, like they used to date. He used to date the reporter. The reporter used to date his sister.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if that's what it is. Yes, she's the girl in the video. Yeah. So remember when he went... He
told him future brother-in-law.
Right, but remember when he went to his apartment and he looked at the video that was on the camcorder? The girl, that's the sister, and that's when she was like, my dad will get upset. And remember, he went down there and he saw something. He probably saw proof that the father was a serial killer, because he said, if you had said something then, imagine how many lives would have been saved.
Right.
Yeah, that's what, okay. He saw something in that basement.
So I'm just curious, like, why he, like, I feel like the sister and they seem to be, like, in the same fucking city, so, but does he have a relationship with his sister? Like, or is he just avoiding her? And then the guy at the restaurant, that's going to come back into play. I think the wife is going to somehow. The guy at the restaurant says he used to work there before he went missing.
The older guy.
Yeah, the guy that worked at the restaurant said, "Oh, I know." He specifically says, "Oh, I'll never forget what he looks like."
Yeah, but that's the older guy they had to come in to do the sketch.
What I'm saying is, I feel like all she has to do is take her husband to that restaurant or talk him into it, just to see that guy.
Well,
I feel like
it don't matter now because she found the watch.
Yeah, I know.
She knows now.
Kinda.
Well,
and he's still gonna play something.
I don't know.
Something's still gonna come.
Gaslight her.
I told him.
Remember, I was joking. Like he's gonna gaslight her into thinking he gave it to her.
Yes.
For safekeeping.
Right.
Yes.
Somebody stole it.
Yes. She's gonna be like, that was on you. It was in your jacket pocket. Maybe it fell out. You were getting.
I went to go get some beer and it fell.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. Oh my God, it's so much. All right. So the cliff. Well, before they even, I do have like 2 notes, and then I stop. The way they met, like, or the way she pursued him.
Right? He was an asshole.
I was like, sis, stand up. Like, he was so, like, and we get it because they confirm in these episodes that, he has antisocial disorder.
Antisocial personality.
Yeah. And so he doesn't realize, I think, how he comes off. And he's clearly haunted by his dad. And again, like the Dexter thing, it feels like he has some sort of code. Like, but so far, the only person we know for a fact that he's killed is the village head back in the day.
Mm-hmm. He could have never killed anyone else ever again.
Yeah, I mean, so far he hasn't killed anyone. But yeah, he was so like rude to her, and she still pursued him, and she was kind of shameless with it. But what was the excuse? Oh, he tells her that he went out. He went downstairs to work. Yeah, and to get beer. That's right. And he came back at 3 a.m. But that ends up being the thing that lets the detective know that he's not the one responsible for killing the guy in the restaurant.
You mean the reporter?
The reporter, right. I'm sorry. Because he was feeding him kimbap
at 3 o'clock. Yeah.
At 3 o'clock, right. So he goes to his apartment. Our guy, Do-hyun, goes to the reporter's apartment to get the evidence off the computer. And that's when the cops arrive, because the last person that the dead guy in the restaurant had spoken to, which I don't know. Well, he didn't know the guy was dead. So that's the thing we talked about, is that if he knew, if he was the one who killed the guy in the restaurant, that would be really sloppy of him, because he would know that when they find the body, they're going to investigate, and they're going to see the last person he talked to was the guy you are holding in your basement. So of course he doesn't know that there's any reason for the cops to show up, which they do, and then he ends up hiding on not even on the balcony, like on the side of the building. Yes. And that little boy was like, a thief. Oh my God. So we're in agreement that's what he found, right?
Yes.
Like, that the reporter knew that his father...
Yeah, I felt like the reporters, like... I think... Why
do you think he say anything?
Maybe he didn't, then. Because it...
Like, I mean, what did he see in that basement that was on that recording? I feel like he had to see something that implicated the father as being a serial killer, right? Because remember, she was
why,
like...
Yeah, but why hold it for 30 years? Or
unless he really
been.
liked the daughter.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he probably just,
At the time, he didn't want to...
Maybe he thought the daughter didn't know and didn't want to...
Or maybe whatever he saw, he couldn't put it into context until later. Because it feels like they were saying they didn't realize he was the suspect till he already killed himself.
Mm.
I thought. So that brings up the question of maybe he didn't kill himself. Either he faked it or maybe one of the kids killed him because they found out.
Maybe he killed
him. Right, the son. While he's at the apartment, though, the reporter gets out of his constraints, thanks to the broken glass from earlier, and they fight, and then they end up working together.
The wife's like, what the fuck happened?
She comes there, and they're both bleeding and shit, and I was like, how do they... There's parts of me that's like, how is she so slow sometimes?
Right.
But then... I don't know where her mind should have gone. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can think you could be a little, this is weird or whatever, but I wouldn't.
She just saw these two guys get into a fight, and then they both are explaining. They're both telling her the same story.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
You're bound to believe.
Right.
Yeah. So in them working together, there is no real case, like different case in these two episodes, which is I think what makes it a bit harder to talk about than the first two, because we could kind of talk about the personal stuff and then like the actual case, but the cases are now the personal stuff, right? They're investigating the dead guy in the restaurant, and then what?
I just remember when we met the sister for the first time, and the fake.
I thought
that was going to be the case
for episode 4, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But she works in film doing special effects, which.
Dexter did.
Well, no, he was a blood
a
analyst for police, right. But he worked with crime scenes. Yeah, it did have a Dexter feel to it. That scene.
It did. She's a blood special effects.
So, what do we think is up though with the parents? Then, like, I told you my theory that maybe they did something to their son by accident. The wife did.
It could be like a situation where he was like, like in Itaewon class, the son was like a really terrible person, and he got into some kind of accident, and they had to cover it up, like a car accident.
Okay.
Killed someone,
right?
And they covered it up, but he's like severely injured, like in a coma. So to cover it up, they have to keep the fact that he's in a coma a secret.
So do you think the father is? I don't like the mother. I feel like admitted kind of that she's also kind of psychotic. No.
Yeah.
Do we think the father is too? Or is he just like, because from what we saw, it was really weird when he comes home and the housekeeper writes him a note, it's time for your son to eat or something. And I was like, why don't they say it? And Kaylee's theory was that it's probably just the rule, like to be
just
safe,
to be
you
extra
don't
cautious.
Yeah, you don't say anything out loud about what's going on with him. But he goes in there and he feeds him, and it's just like he's different than the impression I had of him before. So I'm wondering if he's just more normal than the other two, and he's just going along with it. Like, does that make sense? But yeah, and that explains why he had that horrible blonde hair.
Yeah.
Because the son
had horrible
Which
blonde.
is a common, like, delinquent trait. They dye their hair blonde.
Really?
In Asian countries. Because, they all have, like, naturally dark hair.
Yeah.
So it's like, when you're watching, like...
Oh, yeah, because Itaewon class, wasn't his hair kind of light blonde?
They'll dye their hair a lighter color.
It's weird that they let him pose for that family fucking portrait with that delinquent hair.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be like, So yeah, that was the reveal at the end. And he met them. They're the ones who hit him, right? Remember he ran out in the street because he was running from...
Do you think the sun hit him? And that's how he ended up in a coma?
No. Because, like, it felt like... It didn't feel like that bad of a car accident. Yeah. It felt like Do-hyun would be more hurt than the driver. I think it might have been the parents that hit him, or one of the parents. I don't know.
What was your reaction to seeing the father's ghost?
Like, that was freaky.
The little hallucination.
Because of the dark eyes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That I like that effect. I like that they're doing that.
And I like that he's battling that, like,
yes,
that demon.
Like the dark passenger that Dexter has. His dark passenger. And he also sees his father in Dexter.
Yes.
But his
father's the good part.
Yeah. So the reporter is questioned about the dead man from the restaurant. And they find out that he used to work with the guy they think is doing all this, Do-hyun, right? At this other restaurant. And they go interview the guy. And when they go to the restaurant, the wife sees the dish. Nico, I swear to God, you better not be going to the bathroom. She sees the dish that her husband made for her.
On the poster.
Yes.
The menu.
Of the menu. And she was like, oh, this is just weird because my husband made me like almost the exact or similar dish. And the young guy's like, yeah, those are really popular these days. Like, and I'm like, girl, how many times are you going to get too into
There's so many red, like every episode
yeah, it's
she
a
has
lot of
a red flag about something about her house.
I mean, to her credit though, when she saw the CCTV footage of the murderer in that raincoat, the first thing she thought was, he did bring his ass home at 3:00 in the morning, 3:30 with that damn raincoat on. Like, but she, again, you brush it aside because why would you think your husband is out there murdering folks?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was completely thrown though with the reveal with the cab driver. Mm-hmm. So the cab driver,
he was in episode 3. They interviewed him in episode 3.
Yes, and he left his thermos there. So when the cop called, he was like, "You need to come get your shit, or else we throwing it away at the close of business." I was like, "Damn!" But then we realized he wanted to hear what was going on in the investigation, and it turns out that those serial killings that they think his father did, there were 7 missing people, but only 6 bodies found. The 7th body was his wife, never found.
Right.
So when he hears that Do-hyun is out there killing again and on the loose, and he thought that would be a way to draw him out by killing the guy at the restaurant.
And he only thought he was out there killing because of the like. Why would why does he think he's out there killing?
No. Okay, so he met by accident the guy who worked in the restaurant that got killed, the cab driver. Remember, we saw that he had the same keychain that Do-hyun had, and we were trying. I don't know if we ever figured it out. If it's just like from their village, the area, if there's like a fishing village or something.
So just people from the village.
So right. So when he took it, when he asked the cab driver, "Can I use your phone?" and we know how he is. Every bad thing that was happening to him because somebody was calling him at 4 a.m. We still don't know who that was.
Yeah, because it's not the cab driver.
Right. It's not I don't think it's the cab driver, right? But he kept getting these phone calls, and so he was all paranoid. So when he saw the keychain, he was like, Do-hyun, is that you? Mm-hmm. And the cab driver's like, oh, you know Do-hyun? Like, tell me where he is. And that's when they spoke. And that was really what sealed his fate. Because he was like, oh my God, our dog is coughing up like a hairball or something. He was like, why do you, like, he made it like, why do you care about digging up a rotting corpse? Or some shit he said to that man. And I was like, and he was like, you're right. He's like, anyway. Okay. Yeah. He just was like, all right. And then you can see the idea. He's like, what we really need to happen is for a murder to take place. And I guess it's going to be you, dummy, for opening your mouth. So he goes and it was him that killed him. And then he overhears, though, that a woman called in and said she knows what he looks like. Mm-hmm. So with her, now correct me if I'm wrong, Kaylee and I were trying to figure out how this worked. She had
a picture.
She's from that village, and she had gone to Seoul with her daughter. And this is so fucking random. And they took a sightseeing photo. And as it turns out, it's not just him in the photo, it's him wife. And the wife.
She's pregnant.
And she's pregnant. And so what she's saying is, when they got the pictures developed, she showed it to one of their other neighbors, was like, don't he look like Do Hyun that's been missing? And she was like, no. And she's like, no, I'm pretty sure that's him. And so for years, she had always had in the back of her mind that this guy looked like him. Mm-hmm. So when she saw on the news that they were looking for him and that they want to know what he looks like, she was like, I'm telling you it's him. So she called them. When she said she wanted to put that picture in the mail express, I was like, bam, this is a murder case. That's not how that works. They are not just going to sit there and wait 3 to 5 business days for that letter to show up. They are coming to your house immediately. And that's what they do. And thankfully, let's talk about the sketch. The sketch scene. When they're trying to get the sketch of him.
The reporter is there sabotaging it.
Gaslighting that old man.
Because he's like, I'm so sure he looks like this. And he's like, actually he had a scar 3 centimeters long on his forehead.
and well, wait, the best part though is like when the old guy goes, well, they say as you get older your memory goes, right? And then like a couple of scenes later when he's questioning the reporter, he's like, are you sure? The reporter's like, didn't you say your memory is going? I'm like, that's not what he said. Why are you gaslighting that old man? But then as it turns out, they're like, oh, we don't need this anyway because we got a picture. Right. So he calls him. He was like, do you want the good news or the bad news? He said the bad news is they got a picture of you, dude. Your wife is on the way to get it. He's like, what's the good news? What was the good news?
I'm on your side.
Yeah. And then he immediately tried to set him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, we're going to get there first because we're not going to follow traffic laws. They ran every red light.
There was no other cars
None.
on the way there.
None. Yes, because there would have been so many accidents. So what? But then the cab driver got there first.
Yes.
Like, because he left the moment he heard. Mm. You have to go outside? You want to take him outside real quick, see if he poops? All right. We're going to pause for a second. The reporter gets there, and his plan, we really were hoping when he told the plan to Do Hyun that he was like, I'm going to go in, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to talk to her for a little bit, and then I'm going to say, we should go meet the cops at the gate, and all this stuff. Nico. And then you're going to sneak in, and I'm going to tell you where the picture is, all this stuff. We were like, we really hope this has already happened, and not... And exactly, it wasn't. It's not what happened. He comes in and she's already tied up. And he sees him, right?
No, he goes to help her and she's like...
No. I'm talking about Do Hyun. He sees the cab driver.
He sees him leaving.
Right. And he confronts him. Yeah. And when the cab driver looks him in the face, he knows it's him.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. Because he pulls the cab driver's mask off. One thing we didn't talk about was there was a flashback to the people in the village, like holding him down when he was a kid. And we were like, what the fuck is up with that? And I jokingly said, like, after they left, like after the cops had gathered the people in the village, all those elders, right? And they were telling them what they thought had just happened, and what was going on. And as soon as I said to Kaylee, they're going to be like, those exorcisms that we performed on him. I was joking, and then they said it. They were like, we should have did more or something. So that's why they were doing that to him, because they said he disappeared 3 months after his father's suicide. So after he was suspected of killing the village elder, right? But oh wait, another thing. The sister, you asked about the sister. It was implied when the wife interviewed her that it's so weird because she sold the land because apparently the father owned a lot of land and property, like buildings. She sold the land, she said, to compensate the victims' families, but she kept ownership of the buildings. And she basically implied, the wife, the detective G1, she basically implied that she kept them for her brother to have places to hide and stuff like that. I wonder if that's true. Although he wouldn't really need it. Yeah. Because he's hiding in plain sight with a cop. So he
said when I fell down in the hole and he laughed.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Is she going to remember, like, one time she fell and her husband started laughing? And the old guy said, he was weird. I fell. I was like, to be fair, sometimes people falling is funny.
Yeah, he said, he asked why he's laughing. He's like, the noise you made was funny. I can relate to that.
That'll make you laugh. That doesn't mean there's something wrong with him. We've all done that. And the scar on his neck, that's from when
he got stabbed
by the other guy.
Kids, yeah.
Yeah. The guy who was trying to take his wallet. The guy who got killed in the restaurant. And it's interesting because, like, we're finding out, like, everybody has, like, some sort of secret. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the reporter, we thought he was innocent when he was holding him hostage, and you find out he bullied him, right? And then the guy calling saying, oh, help, I think he's, stalking me. He's going to do something to me. We find out he attacked him and he was, like, trying to kill him to take his money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was like later said, he had saved up like 10 million won, and we still don't know how he got that money. But
I wonder if that's because, again, we still don't know who was calling him at 4 a.m. Right? I wonder if it has something to do with that, like the money. I don't know. But he tells. What's interesting though is I don't think Do Hyun knows because he goes to the bed and breakfast to wait for the taxi driver to pick him up. Does he know that the taxi driver wants to kill him? That he's the wife of he's the husband of the
wife?
It just that doesn't make sense to me. Like, why is he blaming the son of the serial killer?
He thinks the son knows where his wife's body is.
Right, because remember, the rumor is that they've been floating all these years is that the son was in on it. Because remember, after the father killed himself, they just basically said that he was the perpetrator of all those serial killings, which he probably was, considering the way Do Hyun visions has visions of him and whatever was going on in that basement. And then in that 3-month time period, he was bullied, he killed the village elder, and then he just disappeared. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing because of that, and him being suspected of killing the village head, that they just assumed that, he must have been in on it with his dad. So the husband, being desperate all these years, is like, if we find him, maybe we can find my wife's body.
I also want to ask, why is he so sure that his wife is connected with these murders like that? Because they never found her body, so it's like maybe she just conveniently went missing on that time.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's a completely different case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She ran away with another dude.
Right? Like, it could be anything.
So let's talk about the fight. So the wife shows up and chases him. She calls his name before he goes to climb over that wall. He looked like he was going to turn around for a second. I was like, you better not.
It was super tense.
Yeah. And then they end up fighting in this, like, garage. She was whooping his ass.
Mm-hmm.
But what I thought was interesting was when he put that blanket over her head, and then those tools were going to fall on her. And those were, like, heavy tools.
Yep, and he took the fall.
He took the brunt of it. And I wonder if she realizes that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think
there was
she
like a
does.
moment after, like, when the other cop, the younger one, came to like take her out of the handcuffs. There was like a moment where, you know, she had the blanket off her head and she's like looking around and she's like looking at all the tools on the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm like wondering if that's what she's thinking. Like,
Right.
how did all these tools get here?
Yeah. He handcuffs her to this shelf or something.
Yeah.
And leaves her there. And I told Kaylee, oh my God,
That's
I would just quit.
humiliating.
That's so humiliating. You're a cop and you let him handcuff you and then they're going to find you looking like a turtle on your back in your shell. Like,
And they sure did.
and she's in there. But at least she got the blanket off her head. That was my main thing. You're going to look real silly. And they found his watch. And that's how it ends. She looks at the back and, I mean.
It has his initials engraved on it. It was her birthday gift to him. Of course, she's gonna recognize it, even without the initials.
And I forgot all about that watch. When they
Yeah.
found it, you said that you were like, "That's the watch she gave him," and it has his in it. And I was like, "It does." Like I completely forgot that scene
Like
happened.
if it didn't have the initials,
maybe
he could talk his way out of it.
right.
Because like, it's not like she gave him the watch; she gave him the strap.
Yep.
So, like, I don't know. It depends on how unique that strap is. Like, if you can get a strap like that anywhere, then yeah.
Yeah, but why would somebody have his initials in it?
And what is his? Because it's not just the initials, though. Doesn't it
It
say the
says-
last name? It says Beck and then
HS.
HS. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And I'm trying to remember. Like, yeah, no, dude, no, you, nah. I don't.
At some point,
You
he's
can't
got,
talk
I feel like at some point he's got to tell his wife the truth to get out of this.
I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, what are the odds of her forgiving something like that? Like, what has he done? No, it's all pretty big, honestly. Because that's not even your name, nigga. Like, those aren't your parents. Like, you've been lying for a lot of years.
Your whole life, basically, as long as she's known him. He's
Yeah.
still lying.
Yeah, because they met in 2000. Was it 16 or 6? 16. I keep saying.
I don't remember the year.
Yeah.
But it was definitely, you know, and he has that hair dyed and everything, so he's already living with the...
Yeah, living as the other guy.
But he's never done anything wrong.
Well, he killed the
It's just, I
village
mean-
head,
Killing the
and
village
I'm
head.
Yeah,
thinking
but
that was self-defense.
I feel like you're right that there was he just didn't just go crazy like his dad, kill somebody. There's a reason why if he killed that person, then there's a reason why he did it, a good reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like doing something with his sister or something. But I feel like everything that he's doing could be, especially somebody you're close to, they should understand to a point.
Yeah.
I wonder if like the phone calls he's been getting and stuff like that is if he's still in contact with his sister.
What phone calls?
Well, you said didn't you say he was getting phone calls at like 4
No, the
o'clock
guy
in
who got killed in the Chinese restaurant.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
He that's what he kept thinking it was Do Hyun. And what was the person asking him? Are you happy?
And they had like a voice modulator.
Yeah. So I don't. We still don't know what that's about.
We thought
No.
it was him. It wasn't
Right.
still him. We thought it was the cab driver. It's not him.
Right.
Did you get that the his stepmother has a drug problem?
Who?
Oh yeah, because he gave her the thing to calm her
Yeah,
down.
she's like
His
she's
fake
like
mom?
yeah, she's got like a
Oh, he's a
some kind of drug problem.
I don't think she has a drug problem.
No,
he gave her a whole bottle of some kind of
Yeah,
medicine.
she
She chugged
drank
it all
it.
down.
And she just like, yeah, the whole conversation was about like, hey, just like kind of, I got my own issues type of thing. And
Oh my god, really? I didn't think. I
Yeah.
just thought she was freaking out. Like
No.
she. Okay.
I thought at first maybe it was like an energy drink.
Yeah, I really thought it was
No,
like
that
a thing
was-
to
that
calm
was-
me down.
that was something out of her own fucking pharmacy.
Oh man. Oh my god. When that little girl called crying to talk to him when he was at the Airbnb,
Bed and breakfast.
bed and breakfast. And she was like, oh, my dad and whatever. The fucking mom, the grandma, the wife's mom in the background trying not to laugh. And I didn't catch it at first. Kayla was like, you see her trying not to laugh. And then before she hung up, she kind of winked at him. You know, they were both like, this little brat. Just humor her so she'll shut up.
Wait, but back to the fake mom in the pharmacy. She chugged it all down. And then, like, she was calm for a bit, and then I can't remember what he said.
He told her something else.
He got her brought up again, and she threw the bottle.
Yes. I thought she was going to slap him again.
And then you joked that he was reaching to get another one for her.
Right, but I don't know what he was reaching for. I forget, but yeah.
He was reaching to clean up the glass.
Oh. And the guy is dying. We didn't talk about that. The cab driver. He's sick, right? I mean, he's coughing up blood. That's like, that's serious. Oh man, there was one other thing. I'm going to take notes next time. I'm sorry.
This was very all over the place.
Oh my God, there was something else. Oh, so the last we saw of the cab driver, he should be on his way to pick him up from the bed and breakfast.
Well, he already arrived.
Oh, he did arrive. That's right.
So we just haven't seen him.
And then she found the watch.
Yeah, that was like how it ended.
Yeah. Did they question why the reporter was there?
Not yet. I mean, he could just like, I was gonna say, I think I said this before, he could easily just say he was just visiting his old town. Like, because he did used to live there. But it was...
Oh, the cop did figure out how...
their info was getting leaked. Yeah, that's
yes.
what I was going to say. He noticed
Yeah,
he's so smart.
He is really smart. And I like that we talked about this, that they had established that before when he was interviewing the cabbie. Mm-hmm. And he would, I forget what it was, but he like picked up on two things. And the cabbie was like, God, you're really perceptive and really good. Mm-hmm. And so later, when they were like, how the fuck did he know where to go? It made sense that he realized it was the thermos because they've already established that, if they hadn't, it would be like, how the fuck did he figure that out?
I don't think they even knew that it was the cab driver at that time, did they?
Yeah, because I know that I don't remember if that was before or after, but I know at one point they were looking through the list and they saw occupation. They said taxi driver.
That was after
they found the thing. Okay,
yeah, so it wasn't even confirmed that it was the cab driver.
Yeah,
it was just, I don't know. He's just got that gut feeling.
Did we talk about the fact that his because I can't remember what we said on the first podcast about his adopted parents knowing exactly who he is? Because they confirmed it here that they do know who he is, because that's why she was upset with him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we know how they met now.
Right.
So, and I'm assuming they lived in the same area?
Yeah.
So they would know, like, the family, like, history or whatever? Because, again, when this happened, this is after the father died. And he was living with, I think they were roommates. The guy from the Chinese restaurant that got killed when he was in the woods and he stabbed them.
They were definitely co-workers.
They were definitely co-workers. I could have sworn he said they were roommates for a while. And that's when he talked about one night we watched a movie together. And I was like, okay. I'm so curious. I need to look up what he had done, like what we might have seen him in. The lead guy. Do-hyun, because he looks so familiar. But also he just looks so much like an idol that we know and in Hypen, so...
Oh yeah, you said he also looks like someone.
Yeah. So I think that may be it, that he just looks familiar to me.
His
I think he looks
fake dad looks familiar to me.
Yeah.
I wanna look him up.
So, okay, so predictions. Is she gonna...
Is he gonna talk his way out of this?
Is he gonna talk his way out of it? Yes or no?
Yes.
How is he gonna talk his way out of it?
Fuck if I know. He went to go to some beer or something.
Because it's only episode 4.
I think she's gonna keep it to herself. I don't even think she's gonna confront him about it.
Well, I mean, she
Not
can't...
for a while, at least. I think she's gonna probably do some...
I could see that, and like I said, I still
investigation
think
herself.
that just the fact... I still think that the guy at the restaurant is still going to come into play somehow.
Okay, but...
She's going to start investigating her husband without him.
And that's a way to set him up, right? Is to have that guy see him. Okay, but how does she keep that?
Or even that lady with the fucking picture, because she knows what he looks like too.
Okay, but how do you keep that a secret from the other cops? Because wasn't it another cop who gave her the evidence? The watch was like, look what we found.
He was asking, is this your watch? So
oh, she's probably going to say yes.
And just say, yeah, it's just mine.
Okay, got it. She has to, because if they look at it, they're going to be like, hey, isn't this your husband's initial?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. Okay. I like that he said that, I think the reporter asked, like, why did you marry her?
And he said that...
He keeps his father
Yeah.
away, right? Like and I don't know if that's like a fancy way of saying like he just feels safe with her, if that makes sense. Like pretending to be this thing keeps those dark things, the reminder of like his life. But then it's weird because he did kill that village head, even though it was self-defense. But afterwards, didn't he say it feels good?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm curious to know more about what his issue is exactly. Besides the personality disorder, like, does he like killing? I mean, he could have killed a couple of people by now, and he hasn't. But oh my God, one thing I forgot to talk about, when he was hiding on the side of the building, and you could see his shadow, and she's like looking at the ground because the pot was knocked over, the plant, and then the fucking clouds came in. I was like, oh, that's convenient. So his shadow was, And then there was one point, like, when you said, Donnie, like, it was, like, too much tension, it took too long. As she's, like, walking over, I was like, just die. You just give up. Just fall. Because she's going to fucking kill you. All right. Anything else?
Fast forward and see if there's anything in this. His sister looks like Jimin.
She does. It's interesting that there are so many, I feel like there are so many moments in this show where she wonders aloud how people cannot know things that are going on, like, right under their nose. Like, how could you not know that this was this? Or how could they not? Is it really possible? And I'm like, sis.
You're on the top.
I was like, you living in a glass house and don't even know it. Just chucking stones.
You were getting annoyed because she was like, you seem sad that your brother is missing or something.
Right, like
because it's her brother.
It's her. I was like, even if I thought that my brother, like, it's a sad thing to think about that your father and your brother were possibly like this. Like, why wouldn't she be like fucked up about this? Like, girl, get out her face. That's why I like when she basically told her to kick rocks.
Oh yeah, and he was like, she's like staying up late to look at her report.
Oh my God! And she's telling him all this stuff, and then he fucked up. Remember, because he was like, how
did you know that
they were?
The reporter was going to be there for the sketching. No,
it was something about how they knew each other or something. And you say, oh, you told me they went to school. Maybe it was about the sketch, but he was like, oh, you mentioned that the reporter and Do-hyun went to school together. And she was like, oh, okay. Well, make sure you don't be repeating stuff I tell you. It's like, he's silly. Do you think he's drugging her? Because we still don't know what he needed those sleeping pills for. Like, I'm assuming
so he could go
that first night, but I swear in this scene it felt like she fell asleep unnaturally.
I just thought she was tired because he mentioned she had bags under her eyes, so but he could be gaslighting her. But I don't know, I thought she was just tired because she has been working a lot.
Anything else?
He goes to talk to the wife, the pregnant wife. He preps himself to look sad beforehand. He goes to talk to the wife of the guy who died. She's pregnant, and he's prepping himself to look sad before he talks to her. He's like fake crying.
Yes, he didn't know how to be sad. But I was like, that is really fucking risky for him to
talk to her, because
as the reporter.
Yeah, he was pretending
to be like that specific reporter.
Because she could go talk to the real reporter.
Exactly. That was so risky for him to do that, I thought. To pretend to be somebody that she could later run into. So, all right, Donnie, do you have anything else? You're all quiet.
Nope.
Okay. All right, so we do predict that he is... Oh, wait. So either either he's going to talk his way out of it, or she's not even going to confront him. I think it's the latter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the latter.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be back next week to talk about episodes 5 and 6, and I promise I'll have notes, so it'll be maybe a bit more organized discussion. And that gives you guys some time also to send in your feedback. Remember, if you have things that you want to contribute to this conversation, if you watched the show already, or if you're watching along with us, you can send that feedback to feedback@projectfandom.com. And if we are kind of fuzzy on some stuff, if you want to clarify for us, that would be great, but just don't spoil us. Because sometimes getting stuff wrong is part of the fun in making your predictions and stuff. Anyway, thank you guys for listening, and I hope you had a really nice and safe holiday weekend. Talk to you next time.